Hello and welcome to a special Scarves Around the Funnel. We're going to record again this week, but I just felt like we needed to say something after that tonight. After discussing the atmosphere at Tynecastle in a special one-off podcast on Monday evening, we couldn't not say anything about the atmosphere at Tynecastle tonight, which was absolutely outstanding. A call to arms was put out, and the Hearts fans certainly responded. I'll keep this brief tonight. We'll go over the game quickly. We'll have a look at some of the comments that were put in on social media. Just myself, Scott's still stuck on Gorgie Road on a bus trying to get back, but I just felt that something was better than nothing, and I wanted to just say a word for the Hearts supporters. It was a day that started with a football team from North Macedonia making shit up because they're about to lose their best player to Hearts. And it was a day that ended with Hearts losing one of their best players after the team picked up yet another red card, the second in the space of 4 days. Getting all 3 points, playing with 10 men for 45 minutes. Completed it, mate. That was Sunday. Tonight, getting all 3 points, playing for 75 minutes with 10 men. Completed it, mate. Tonight, it was about the atmosphere. It was about the players. It was about the effort. It was about never giving up. For an hour and a quarter this evening, the Hearts fans really were the 11th man. You're listening to Scarves Around the Funnel, sponsored by Forrest Hepburn and McDonald Signs. So, 4 changes to the Hearts lineup tonight. The big one, Harry Milne. Okay, well, that Undertaker meme of him being in the coffin and then suddenly sitting bolt upright, that was Harry Milne. As Liam Corbett said on This Is My Story this week, we were planning to go to his funeral. We were wondering what we should wear. He was done. He was gone. But he's back. And he started. He wanted to play, saw a specialist on Monday morning and trained on Tuesday and played on Wednesday. It's like Solomon Grundy, a different version of that one. So 4 changes. Gordon, Steinvender, Milne and Spittle in for Swallow, McCart, Magnuson and Altena. Gordon in goal, back four of back four. It was a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3 for 15 minutes. Gordon in goal, Steinvender, Halkett, Finlay and Milne, Spittle, Benny and Devlin, Braga, Shankland and Kizaridis. And one thing to note before a ball was even kicked, if you somehow weren't at the game and managed to get coverage on Hearts TV, there were several pay-per-view issues tonight, but there's always a way. And if it means tuning into radio coverage to hear the noise, then so be it for those of us that weren't there and wanted to find out if the call to arms had been effective. And it certainly was. Brilliant noise. Brother-in-law sent me a message just before kickoff saying that his watch was saying, I think it was 90 decibels, and that over a prolonged period could be harmful to hearing. That's what we wanted. The noise was brilliant. It was fantastic. And the game itself, to start with, well, look, St Mirren do what St Mirren do. And apologies for those of you watching that I'm not going to look at the camera for the full episode, because I'm going to go through the incidents in the game. I'm going to keep up to date with some of the things that happened. And just like at the weekend, there weren't many things going on. In fact, the second tweet from the Hearts account on Twitter, we are aware of issues with Hearts TV and pay-per-view. Our streaming partners are urgently investigating and hope to rectify soon. We apologise for the disruption. You just thought, is it going to be that type of night? There was a frantic opening with nothing really happening as far as the goalmouth action was concerned. And then there was a pass in the 13th minute, which was played to Benny Beningame. I think it might have been by Stuart Finlay. And it was a shocker of a pass. But he still kind of managed to control it, but his touch then got him into trouble, and it was a lunge. The biggest surprise here was that this was not a red card straight away from Kevin Clancy, who looked right at it. And I think Benny knew. And I'm kind of thinking, please don't a yellow's enough, don't need to go to the monitor, knowing fine well that he probably would, and it would be a red card. So off went Benny Beningame. The change kind of saw Blair Spittle moving more central, playing alongside Cammy Devlin. And he did it very well. I thought there was a lot of comments before the game. Spittle, I mean, it's like anybody, if a player's not your favourite, then you're going to see the comments when the team's announced, oh, what's he playing for? He did not let Hearts down tonight. I thought the energy, and there wasn't a failure in the Hearts lineup from Harry Milne at the end of the game, playing left back, left wing, left midfield, striker role, all four of them at once. To the defenders, to Craig Gordon's save right at the end from Killian Phillips, that ended up going out to play for a throw-in, for Kabori coming on and just holding the ball up really well. Lawrence Shanklin, how good was Lawrence Shanklin tonight? Absolutely outstanding. There wasn't a failure in the Hearts lineup, but 75 minutes Hearts had to play after it was eventually sorted out that there would be a red card for Benny Beningame, and we had to play with 10 men. Couple of offside goals. They looked pretty clear cut. The second one seemed to take a lot longer than it should have done. Maybe it was tighter than it looked, but it looked pretty obvious. But regardless, there wasn't too much of a concern. But we kind of needed to regroup. We didn't get too many opportunities. Craig Gordon was, I say, the busier of the two goalkeepers. He didn't have to have that much to do in the first half. Just looking at some of the chances in that opening 45. Again, defensively, outstanding. Stuart Finlay, Craig Halkett, Harry Milne getting back, and wasn't able really to get forward as much in that first half until they got the players in at halftime and made one or two tweaks. I thought Laurie Dunsire made a brilliant point in commentary just before halftime with Jimmy Sanderson. And he was talking about how St Mirren, the game didn't suit them after Hearts went down to 10 men. It was more a case of they like to play on the counter. They like to play in transition. They like to hit on the counter, hit on the break. They're not very good right now as far as form is concerned. And they're also not very good when you give them the ball and say, okay, go and do something, break us down. I thought Dundee were better with their 11 against Hearts 10 than St Mirren were, which was great for us. But I have to say at halftime I was worried. Celtic winning at Falkirk didn't deserve it, but hey, that's what they are, champions, defending champions. That's what they do. And they got all 3 points. And this was a game Hearts really had to win. Was it bigger than the weekend? It was as big. There's no doubt about it, because it was the manner of the victory this evening. So thankfully, the first tweet from Hearts after they said it was all square at the break was, all Hearts TV and pay-per-view streams are now working. We apologise profusely for the delay in being able to watch the game. So nothing, wasn't a Hearts club issue. That's the last thing they need when they're trying to put updates out. Seems to be a pay-per-view issue. I'm sure that can be resolved. So again, chances in the second half. Okay, let's go through them. 54th minute, Milne for Shanklin for Kizaridis, deflected behind for a corner. There were a couple of chances I forgot to mention in that first half. Hearts did have opportunities. It wasn't a case of St Mirren had most of the ball. Hearts looked livelier and more dangerous with less of what they had. Claudio Braga had a chance. Kizaridis had a chance. Lawrence Shanklin had an effort as well. There was one where Braga should have scored, but put it over, and he had Shanklin in support. Don't blame him for going with that. Everybody would have done in that position. But I do blame him for the next time he was in that position, because the shot saved, I think it was that one, and he's just got to play it back. He's got to see Shanklin. Shanklin, not saying it's a tap-in, but the goalkeeper's beaten, so that should be that. So, I'm just getting a message in talking about Derek McInnes is speaking live. Kingsley's out for 6 weeks, even though I think he was on the bench tonight. So we're just getting stuff in as it comes in. Was Kingsley on the bench? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I got bad info. Kingsley's out for 6 weeks, and it doesn't look good for Cammy. That's the latest. So apologise for jumping back and forward. But Braga should really have squared it for Shankland. but didn't. So into the second half, it's goalless at the break, um, and then the goal comes on the hour mark. Hearts in that second half, I thought were outstanding. I thought the intensity, the tempo, the support from the stands in response to what the players provided was outstanding. St Mirren were rotten, but we ensured that they couldn't play that well because we were good in transition. Derek McInnes was talking before the game about playing it quickly because they're going to have more numbers in the middle of the park. So play it quickly, play it round it, play it wide, get it forward quickly. Second half, we were excellent. Blair Spittle, he could have just blasted that across goal, but he's a smart footballer and he cuts it back to an area that Lawrence Shankland was in. Did he see him? Probably, but still, it was just a really good cutback, and it was a fantastic finish by Lawrence Shankland for the opening goal. We should have been level 2 minutes later. They should have scored. Gogic kind of got in the way of one of his teammates. I don't know if it was his fellow centre back or what it was, and it was headed behind. It should have been 1-1. They made the first change after, let's see, 65 minutes. Campbell coming on for King. Derek McInnes doing what Derek McInnes does so often this season. Very reactive, quickly to what they've done. Had a look, saw that Campbell was on and King had gone off and made a triple change. Spittle, Kizuridis and Braga for McCart, Magnuson and Kabori. Fresh legs. And then another Hearts change in the 74th minute. Kent replaced by, sorry, Frankie Kent on and Lawrence Shankland off. And look, it was nervy. Don't get me wrong. They had half chances. Craig Gordon wasn't really called into action that much in the second half, despite having a lot of the ball, St Mirren. And then Hearts scored a second with 10 minutes to go. I don't know what Harry Milne's doing, but what an engine this boy's got. This is a lad who's rolled his ankle, gone over on his ankle, and as Derek McInnes said, when it happened last week and they sent him off for scans, the scans did not look good. There's two types of footballers. One, they take the easy way out, and they're like, nah, I'll see you in 6 weeks, I'll get treatment for it. Harry Milne, he's a Northeast boy. He's made of granite. And he was having none of it. I want to play. I want to play. Yeah, but specialist says it's all right. I want to play. Okay, fine. And especially now we're hearing that Kingsley's going to be out for 6 weeks. It's crucial that Harry Milne is available because we didn't really have that attacking side at Dundee. Didn't need it in the second half, but from that left-hand side, that's not Jamie McCart's game. He's a defender. He's a centre back, and he was forced to play at left back. So to have Harry Milne back. And for him to put the shift in that he put, I don't know who the man of the match was tonight. There's so many candidates, and that's phenomenal. What isn't phenomenal is Milne actually pushes Phillips in stoppage time, and Phillips goes into Cammy Devlin, who then goes down. And as Derek McInnes has just said, don't know the severity of it, but it doesn't look good. So that is a concern. But Hearts wrap up all 3 points. Before we get to your comments, as I say, I'm keeping this relatively short because it's just me. It's like one of my tangents. I'm going to give you some quotes from Lawrence Shankland afterwards. He's talking about the circumstances going against Hearts again, but Sunday really gave us belief that we could win the game with 10 men. To get results like that, everybody has to dig in. It's not just about the defenders, it's about every single player. And what he mentioned, I think this is crucial, we were always a threat at the other end, and that says a lot. He was very praiseworthy of the supporters and the noise, because remember, he came out before kickoff. Hearts put out a montage of Lawrence Shankland saying how important the fans were, and he was delighted with the response from the Hearts supporters. He also said, good results always bring belief to a team. We want to stay at the top. Right now, we're enjoying it, but we've managed to dig in and get results, and that says a lot. He says, we'll enjoy tonight, recover over the next couple of days, and be ready for Saturday night. So that's what Lawrence Shankland had to say. As promised, let's tell you what you had to say. Let's get some of your responses following that victory for Hearts this evening. Loads of messages, so I'll get to as many as I can. Okay, let's find out what we have. I'm out of time 75. A magnificent effort to pick up 6 points and keep two clean sheets while playing for more than 2 hours with 10 men over the last two games. The fans have shown tremendous backing against Dundee and St Mirren. Just keep on keeping on. Well said. Phil Fielding. The resilience of this side is amazing. Too many Hearts teams in the past would have folded at the sendings off. From Andrew, it's not a game we traditionally win when faced with adversity. Losing Benny was a hammer blow so early in the game, but the belief in this side is indomitable. Extra bonus points for Andrew for using that word. From Adam, squad depth and the atmosphere, terrific. Keeping it nice and short. And totally agreeing with that one, Adam. Mike, Urso37 Bradley. Crowd and team were fantastic. Every single person was man of the match tonight. Agree with that. Best SPFL atmosphere outside the Old Firm and Derby matches for a long time. That's great to hear for those of us that could only hear it through our radios and our television. HM Foxtrot Charlie, simply put, everything and everyone. That was in response to the tweet that we put out saying best thing about tonight was. HM Foxtrot Charlie simply says, what a result, after saying everything and everyone. Jersey Steve, contributions from fringe players like Spittle and Kabori, all and everyone putting in a shift and fighting for everything. Gavin Wallace, despite VAR trying desperately to find something to go against us every time a ball went in our box, they couldn't. But by fuck, they didn't have to try and find absolutely anything. Shambolic. I want to mention that. We don't have VAR in Scottish football for it to be used like that. We don't have VAR in Scottish football to stop the play prior to every single throw-in because there might just have been something that they might just have missed. This is forensically looking at something when you've got budget VAR. That ain't possible. So VAR was used tonight correctly with the red card. It should have been a red card on field. It wasn't. That was a mistake by Kevin Clancy, who sometimes can be a decent referee. I thought he was poor tonight. But to Gavin's point about VAR trying to find stuff, that's not what fans pay for. When you've got momentum as a team, you also have momentum in the stands. That momentum is quashed if you constantly get stoppages in play because there might be something that has occurred. We're not here for that with regards to VAR. Rant over, but thanks to Gavin Wallace for bringing that up. Totally agree with that. Bry Pie, Kabori was awesome. Hope Cammy is okay. Benny was very, very foolish. Tim Sanders, Nevada Jambo. Best thing for me is it didn't look like we were down a man for so long. What a good point that is. Didn't it just? Especially the second half. You couldn't tell. I think Laurie and Jimmy said that in commentary. You couldn't tell who had 10 and who had 11. Tim just says 25, 26 title with a lot of question marks. Rowdy Heart Tiger, not a single passenger, not one hung their heads. Everybody mucking in there. Outstanding, says Craig McKee. Every man fighting for every ball. Big shout out to the fringe players coming in and performing. Dell got it spot on, keeping the front three on after the red card. That's a good shout as well, because it would have been easy. I mean, Sunday was you have to make a change because your goalkeeper has been sent off, and Braga was the player who was jettisoned. Ultimately, it turned out to be the right decision. He could easily have brought on Magnuson and taken off Kizaridis or Braga tonight, but he didn't. He moved Spittle and he asked for that extra 1.5 times effort from the players that they already give. From Jordan, the backing from the fans was the best thing. 12th man, or 11th man, as we've discussed, really filled the gap left by Benny. But what a performance. two going on five with a man less. How good? Do you know what? That's a really good point. And I know that Gogic just had the header and they've had a couple of disallowed for offside, but that's because they were offside, so they wouldn't have counted. Hearts could have scored more than two tonight. Hearts should have scored more than two tonight. Braga could easily have scored at least one in the first half, as could Shankland. I thought Shamal George was excellent, and Kizaridis could have scored as well. Laurie mentioned on our podcast on Sunday, he's not scored in what, 12 now, 13 games since the Celtic win it many weeks ago. Maybe he's just a little bit rusty, but Jordan's right. That could easily be more than two goals. From Gorgie always felt a shift when we went down to 10. Roll up the sleeves. Players knew their jobs. They did their jobs and they grafted like fuck for the cause. Hard to pick individuals, but special shout outs to Spittle and Kabori with another brilliant cameo up top. That was Tynecastle tonight. Amen. Flitch, playing as a team, by that I mean 16 players. The squad is clearly united. The atmosphere, great from start to finish. Our announcer had clearly been listening to all the recent podcasts. Come on, feel the noise. And all credit as well with regards to that, because I got a message from Liam Corbett. Everything that was asked for was done. Come on, feel the noise was played. Hey Jude, fantastic from everybody. That's what we want to see. Thanks to Graham Easton for taking all these points on board. Getting back to the comments, George Loudon, absolutely magnificent team performance, tremendous mentality and work rate throughout. We're going to be there at the end, and with that never say die attitude, who knows where it's going to take us. From John Ross, the unity in the stadium. Red card probably helped in that sense. It was a brilliant performance from the entire team. By no means a smash and grab job either. I don't know how Joel Sked does these solo things. You need to take water. Ah, Jim Shandy, 1874, St Mirren number 14, giving it big licks to Section N before coming on and being part of the team to shift two goals to 10 men. Chef's kiss. Ian Gillis, to win a title, you need a good defence. We have a great defence. It's on. It's definitely on, says Ian. Dave Cowie, 100%. The resilience of the team was the best thing, and the drive to win at all costs. Took the fans along with them. More of the same on Saturday against Falkirk, please. Baz Lightbeer, the team giving 110% and not giving in. The fans doing likewise. David McNee, Dell's tactics, spot on. Keeping the front three on caused them problems. Work rate was superb. Loads of comments. I'm just going to go through them all. Stephen, this is a proper Hearts team and what we're all about. They play for the badge, for us and for each other. From Big G, hearing Beaton went off injured in the Celtic game. Hope it's serious. Sorry, nothing too serious. And Heart of Midlothian, that is it. Yeah, this is why you should maybe read tweets before you read them out, but fuck it. Every single player fighting for the jersey, said DJM696. Love this team. Connor Wallace, 51. The completely chaotic cameo from Kabori. Love the alliteration from Connor and his completely chaotic Kabori cameo. Stuart Mann, the old girl was rocking, wasn't she just? Tynecastle on a midweek night after a game on Sunday that got everybody back involved, and then the lights, the disco, brilliant. Everyone played their part in that victory tonight. From Aaron, the fact that we didn't fold under pressure of being a man down, we kept to our game plan and grinded out yet another massive result. You hardly noticed they had an extra man with how we played. So much to be proud of in this team. Derek Ospedale, surely title of next episode is We Only Need 10 Men. I was going to call this the 11th man. So yeah, pretty much, because I think the fans deserve their part in what we achieved tonight. From Paddy, not a single player lost belief after going down to 10 men. The mentality of these players is what gives me the most joy. From Wee Davy, where do you start? Can't single anything or anybody out. Well, okay, maybe Harry Milne. What a shift. Unbelievable. International HMFC, absolutely superb night. Only criticism would be the needless, awful pass from Finlay to Benny that resulted in his red card, and the two first half chances spurned by Braga and Kizaridis. Agree, mentioned them earlier. Would have taken a point after the sending off, so to get three is magic. That's an interesting one because all you watching will have your own. You'll have your own thoughts. If you were offered a point at half time with 10 men, would you have taken it? And they were talking about that. Laurie and Jimmy were talking about that. So some might not. Fortune favors the brave. A point doesn't win you titles at home to St Mirren when you've got 10 men. Work ethic and scoring a couple of goals in the second half because you've just given everything and left nothing. And Shanklin going off with what, 15 to go, another brilliant shift. The red card, incidentally, from Neil Block was talking about the best thing that happened tonight. Blair Spittle says Cameron. Ross Coles, how is Cammy? Doesn't look good, according to Derek McInnes. George says Lionel Spittle. And Stevie says Kabori was outstanding. Final two, Colin Bain. This McInnes side is exactly what Hearts should and need to be. Roll on Celtic. Falkirk first, of course, in the Cup. Michael Herriot. It only took until the 80th minute and Magnusson's goal when I began to relax. Thank you for all of your comments. I'm sure there'll be many more, but we're recording right now just about an hour after the final whistle. So thank you to everybody for getting in touch. The last few things that I want to talk about tonight. If it doesn't look good for Devlin and Benny is going to be suspended now, it might be Spittle and Magnusson as the two central midfielders for the next few games. It might be a jeu come the start of February. Neuenhoff, maybe Tate recalled from Livy. I don't know if that's a doable thing. Or they might go out and get someone in, depending on the severity of Cammy Devlin's injury. So that is certainly one to watch. Calum Neuenhoff, of course, is hopefully soon to return. And Kingsley as well, out for 6 weeks. So with Harry Milne playing through the pain barrier, but wanting to do so, maybe a left back might be someone else that they might look to get in on loan, maybe as cover for Harry Milne. So yeah, there you go. I just want to end with Rogers Matto and the nonsense that spouted from North Macedonia about this. They've clearly dropped the ball, Vardar Skopje. They could have taken the offer from Hearts. If there was a second bid, they could have accepted that. There was definitely an offer. They say they don't want to lose the player, but he's out of contract in the summer. They need money, but do they need the league title more? It's very similar to Tobol and Chesnikov. And by the way, after waiting all that time for Chesnikov, he's still this little Red Riding Hood character in the dugout. He is there. We might see him. I don't think he's ready to start. We might see him on Saturday against Falkirk, but still, understandably so, hasn't had a sniff because we've gone down to 10 men. But with regards to Rogers Matto, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that a deal could be done this month. I don't see why it would be now if they turned down an offer. If we went back in with the same offer, why would they accept it now if they know they're going to lose the player in the summer? They may as well just keep him until then and bite the bullet, basically. So we'll see with that one. I don't think that's the issue for Hearts right now. We're starting to get to the stage where this huge squad is going to be needed. And tonight, everybody playing their part. But most of all, the supporters who helped those players give absolutely everything out there. This is Scarves Around the Funnel, sponsored by Forrest Hepburn and McDonald Signs. Thank you if you've lasted this long. Enjoy the rest of your night if you're watching it tonight after the game. And thank you for your company if you're watching it at any other time. Bye for now.